Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I've been an eBay reseller since 2006, and today I'm going to talk about suspensions, or in eBay terms they're called selling restrictions, but I and most people seem to call them suspensions. And we're talking about not like permanent account suspensions, we're talking about those 3, 7, 10, 30-day selling restrictions. We're going to talk about what you can still do while you're suspended from eBay. We're also going to talk about what steps you can take to hopefully prevent yourself from getting suspended from eBay, if that's even possible. If my voice sounds a little off, I'm a little under the weather, so just bear with me. But first we're going to go into my suspension history and why I'm making this video right now. Background, I am currently suspended for 10 days from eBay. This started back around New Year's. In that week between Christmas and New Year's, I got a warning for having an expired product up, and it being that time period, I was really busy with family and other things, and I said, okay, I'll clear out my store in a little bit when I have time. Just a few days later, I get hit with another expiration date issue, and they take me down for 3 days. And that's like completely my fault. I blame nobody but me for that issue. I had expired products up, I just didn't go through all of my listings and take them down because I have a really bad record keeping system. I don't really know when my expired products are expiring. I get off that suspension, some months pass, and I go to list a product I found on clearance at a drugstore. It was called Lipo 6 Black. It's like a fat burner energy supplement kind of thing. Literally within 2 minutes of listing the product, eBay takes it down and I get served a 7-day suspension because I have a 3-day on my record earlier in the year. So I reached out to eBay for business and I was like, why did this product get taken down so quickly? And they told me that Lipo 6 Black had been known to contain some sort of ingredient that's not allowed anywhere on eBay in the past. And when I looked at mine, I'm like, well, it doesn't have this ingredient in it. And then she told me that there's a different ingredient that is allowed on eBay, but it's US only, you can't ship it internationally. And there was my problem. I had accidentally left international shipping on. And even though it doesn't say that anywhere in the email as to why the product was taken down, that was the real reason. It was because I accidentally left international shipping on. So again, my fault. I probably should have known better. If you have over-the-counter medication, do not leave international shipping on. It causes problems. I get off that suspension, I go over my shop with a fine-tooth comb. I take down anything that looks particularly sketchy. I make sure everything's not expired. I say, okay, great. It's not gonna happen again. I'm free. I immediately get punched with 6 product takedowns, and now I'm up to a 10-day suspension. And this time I'm left extremely confused, because none of the stuff taken down seemed to actually violate any eBay policies that I could find. 4 of them were drinks that I had in the collectibles category. 2 were expired Mountain Dews, and 2 were energy drinks. 1 was Rockstar, 1 was Monster. All 4 of these flavors are no longer found on store shelves. The Monster and Rockstar only have lot codes. They don't have printed expiration dates on the can. But none of that matters because all 4 of them were listed in the collectibles category. I was really upset about the energy drinks and the Mountain Dew because that's kind of a niche that I'm known for. I've sold many collectible Mountain Dews over the years. I love this niche. I'm not just trying to circumvent any rules by saying, tee-hee, I'm putting expired soda in the collectibles category. Nobody's really collecting it. People are actually collecting it. This is a legitimate thing. If you don't believe me, you can just look on Reddit. Or, look on YouTube. And I got a separate email about 2 health and beauty products that were taken down. 1 was not even expired. It was a 3-pack of hemorrhoid wipes, and all of them have 11/20/22 expiration dates, so I don't know why that was taken down. The other one was these L'Oreal sunscreen oil sprays that don't have a printed expiration date on them. It was a 2-pack. It looks like they should have an expiration date somewhere, and I understand that SPF products usually should, but these didn't. So again, I had 2 products taken down. 1 was not expired, 1 didn't have an expiration date, and I'm getting hit for expiration dates anyway. Like, first time it was expiration date issues, I understood. Second time it was international shipping left on, completely an accident, but I learned from it. Third time though, what exactly am I supposed to learn here? You can't list expired products even in the collectibles category. You can't list, you know, collectible cereal boxes from like the 80s. That stuff's all technically expired. Even though eBay is literally full of these things. You can go on there right now and see old Crystal Pepsi and old cereal and stuff. So I reached out to eBay for Business, which is everyone's thing to do now when something goes wrong, because the usual eBay support is not very good. But since eBay for Business became everyone's go-to, I've found that their customer service is kind of going down as well. So I asked, I had another suspension. I need help. Some of the items taken down for expiration date issues do not actually have expiration dates. My Java Monster Swiss Chocolate and Cyberpunk 2077 Rockstar energy drinks do not have expiration dates. So she looked into it, and they said that there's supposed to be an expiration date on sunscreen, and nearly any food or drink will have an expiration date. If you can't locate it, use Google to help. Okay, that's not helpful here because it's not actually printed anywhere. And then this is a funny part. They said because the Mountain Dew was in a plastic bottle, they consider it a food. Okay. Where is that in the policy anywhere that if it's a plastic bottle, it's food, but if it's a can or glass bottle, it's a collectible? Where is the rule? And then I was like, okay, again, these things did not actually have a printed expiration date on them, and yet I'm being told that it's against a policy. And what about the thing that said it was expired, but I'm literally holding it in my hand and it's not expired? And then they hit me with a please fill out this survey.
My work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
And I was like, no, we're not done here. Come back. I was like, why are you doing this to me? And why are you quoting FDA guidelines that don't exist? The FDA actually doesn't care about expired food. They don't have any guidelines that says you must put an expiration date on food and drinks. They do for over-the-counter medications and baby formula and I think something else. Food has best by dates, which are manufacturers do that of their own accord. They're not doing it because of any laws. Basically, they're saying if it doesn't have an expiration date, they're not gonna allow it if they feel that it should have an expiration date. Okay, if you have a product that was removed for being expired that isn't, but didn't show the expiration in the listing, make sure to make these changes. I'm almost positive I had a picture of the expiration date or had it in the listing somewhere. I still have not gotten an answer why that one was taken down. So I'm launching into the collectibles thing again. I'm asking, what can I do if I want to list a collectible food that is expired in the appropriate category? Can you please give me some guidelines? And basically she comes back and says because I was too vague, define vague, because I'm pretty sure I had a blurb in my description that said these are for collectible purposes only. They're still quoting FDA guidelines that don't exist, and she's saying that because I wasn't over the top with my description, that they could find a loophole saying, well, you might have been trying to circumvent the rules and we'll err on the side of caution and take it down. Okay, so I'm confirming that all I have to change about collectibles is to be really over the top with the description and title. And this is the part that I find funniest. She says it doesn't matter if it's in a bottle or a can, the product is in production or not, as long as you're overly clear that it's for collections and not consumptions, it's fine. I just have to make it more in your face. So we have an eBay rep that told me because it's in a plastic bottle, it's food, and then have another rep in the same day tell me actually it's fine, you just have to be more over the top. Why can't they seem to get their own guidelines together? Could it be because there's actually no written rule about any of this and they're just sort of pulling it out of their butt as they go along? So basically, to summarize their excuses for why they took my items down, if they think it should have an expiration date, in the case of food or SPF products, and it doesn't, they'll just take it down. And if you list it in the appropriate category, which I did, and have something in your description about it being collectible, which I did, that's not good enough. You have to go really over the top with it. Over the top, meaning whatever. They don't give a guideline for that either. So okay, thank you. Lesson learned, I guess. So enough about me, let's talk about you. You did something eBay didn't like, now you're staring at a 3, 7, 10, or 30-day selling restriction. What do you do now? Step 1 is accept it. Don't try to appeal it, don't argue with eBay, don't get over emotional about it. I promise they don't care. They're not gonna help you. They're not gonna take the suspension away. They're just gonna dig deeper and find a reason why they took your listing down. I mean, we saw it with me. They just said, well, you didn't describe it over the top enough. You can't do anything about that. Number 2 is learn from it. Whatever they say you did wrong, look through all your listings and see if anything else fits that criteria and fix it. What does it actually mean to be suspended, and what can you do while you're suspended? Being suspended just means that your items are hidden from search and they're also hidden from your store. You also cannot make new listings. What this does not mean is that you can't make sales. You can actually still make a bunch of sales while your account is restricted. If an item was in someone's cart or in their watch list or in their recently viewed items, they can simply navigate back to it and buy it. If they have a link to the product, they can also go buy it. The only thing they can't do is search and find your product. This means the number 1 best thing you can do while you're suspended from eBay is to send offers. Because then if somebody recently saw your product and maybe they're interested in buying it, you send them an offer, they're probably gonna buy it. This is what I do every time I've been suspended. I send offers and I get some sales coming in. If you have a death pile, you can now go through it. So while you can't list anything new during this time, you can do the entire process of listing and then just save it as a draft. Then when your suspension is over, you can go through and launch all those listings that you did. You can also work on cross-posting. This would be a great time to cross-post to something like Mercari or Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark or Etsy, any of the marketplaces that make sense for your inventory. You definitely don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. So what can you do, if anything, to avoid getting suspended on eBay? It's tough because I feel like all of us at some point have at least gotten one warning, maybe not even a suspension, but just a warning about something that came out of left field, and we're left being like, why did that happen? I didn't know, I couldn't avoid it. But I'm gonna give you 10 tips that I've come up with to try and avoid suspensions based on things that have happened to me. First, the easiest one, if you list expired products, you're gonna get hit, so don't do it. That goes for over-the-counter medications, food, stuff like that. Those are the 2 categories where expiration dates come into play the most. Even if you think, oh, it's only a month past expiration, it does not matter. eBay is getting ruthless about this from what I hear from other resellers. Do not list expired inventory. Second is turn off international shipping for all over-the-counter drugs. This is another one that me and people I know get hit with a lot, especially for things like melatonin, for instance. That is something that's completely fine over the counter here in America, but other countries do not permit melatonin containing products. So if you accidentally list a product here and you have international shipping on, you're gonna get a strike for having that product. So rather than know what can be sold where, it's easier to just completely turn off international shipping for that category. Third would be, I would completely avoid the fat burner and energy supplement category entirely. There's too many little no-no ingredients that get snuck into those things that eBay seems to be on very high alert for. So just completely avoid that category. Fourth is do not use stock photos. Do not pull a product photo from a website, because those brands still own those photographs and they can hit you for intellectual property theft. And it does happen. So be sure to take your own photos. Do not use stock photos. Fifth is to go over eBay's VERO brands list and get a general idea of definitely don't sell that brand, definitely don't want to pick up that brand. But here's the tricky thing. That list is not a complete list. Brands are not required to publicly disclose that they are part of the VERO program. That makes it a literal minefield. You have no way of knowing what you can and can't sell or who's going to strike you for what. And if you're wondering what VERO is, it's short for Verified Rights Owner. And companies will use it to claim that you are infringing upon their intellectual property in some way and use that as a basis to take your listings down. Intellectual property in this case usually means stock photos or use of their trademark. And I believe that brands are using this in a way to sort of limit the used market in a way that is unfair. So a brand can say, you used the word Carhartt in your title. You are selling unauthorized Carhartt product because you can't prove that your Carhartt is real. So we are gonna take it down because you are fraudulently using our trademark. They simply claim that because you didn't buy it direct from them or one of their distributors that are authorized, you can't prove the product's real and therefore you cannot use their trademark. Now, I've never actually heard of Carhartt doing VEROs, but it would not surprise me. Sixth is don't bother with used beauty or perfume at all. And although I have not been personally hit with any restrictions on this category, I see eBay tightening the screws on that a lot. You're not allowed to list used perfumes at all now. If it's, you just have a few sprays out of it and it's not completely to the top, somebody could claim that's used and you're listing it as new and that's fraudulent and you can have it taken down. It wouldn't surprise me if in the future, even if you have a brand new perfume that happens to be missing the cap because it broke or something, or you no longer have the box, like what if eBay decides that's no longer considered new on their platform either? It just feels like a really scary, slippery slope, and I am moving most of that stuff to other platforms. Seventh is don't list any medications with damaged boxes. I got a suspension a few years ago specifically because Culturel started harassing one of my listings. They sent eBay messages saying that the listings needed to be taken down because the boxes were damaged. Now, these boxes were not damaged in any way that would make any sense to me. They looked like any other box you'd buy off the shelf. Maybe a little bit of shelfware on the corner, but not like broken open, not creased, not stepped on, not heavily damaged in any way. So I cleaned that listing up. I took anything that even remotely looked like they could call it damage off, took a new picture of it with a very crisp looking box, put it back up, got slapped again. I literally sent a message to eBay for Business asking like, can you please help me with this? Like, can you show me where the damage is on the box that they're claiming? And the guy was like, well, I mean, you could say that the corner looks a little damaged. And I'm like, it's not even bent. Like, what are you talking about? So they'll just basically make up anything to defend their position. In this case, I just think Culturel didn't like that I was selling 4 boxes for the price of 1 because I found a really good clearance deal, and maybe they're not part of the VERO program and they were just sort of using this as a safe way to nuke my listings. There's nothing you can do about it. So I guess don't list anything that could look obviously damaged, because there is a policy on eBay where you can't have damaged over-the-counter medication boxes. 8 is do not list any prescription medical devices. And I think a lot of people know that by now, but I also got a suspension for listing a water container that goes in a CPAP machine. It was brand new in the box. I don't think you need a prescription for stuff like the hoses and the filters and the water chambers, but apparently you do, because I got suspended for listing an accessory. So just stay away from medical devices and their accessories completely. 9th is don't fall into the trap of thinking a trademark is actually a generic. For instance, if you have a onesie, you probably know what I'm talking about. But what you don't know is you can't call that thing a onesie unless it was made by Gerber. If it was made by any other brand, it has to be called a snap suit, a baby bodysuit, a creeper, something like that. You have a wallet with Velcro or a hat with Velcro, it's not Velcro. You can't prove that the manufacturer used Velcro brand hook and loop fastener. It's just hook and loop fastener. It's not a frisbee, unless it's a capital F frisbee. It's just a flying disc. And yes, every single one of these things have been actual reasons people have gotten suspensions on eBay. 10th is to stay up to date on recalls, because recalls are another reason that people get suspended from eBay. And I also have 2 bonus tips that I thought of while sitting here. Bonus tip number 1 is join a community for resellers. You can join one on Reddit, or you can join one on Facebook, or you can join one on Instagram. Follow other resellers and learn from them. That's the best way to get tipped off by, hey, this brand is bad, don't list it, they're gonna come for you. Hey, I just got hit with this recall notice. hey, they just tried to do this thing with expiration dates that doesn't make any sense, so don't list this stuff. I mean, that's how I've learned a lot of stuff too, so definitely join a community of some kind. I mean, you're here watching YouTube videos, that helps too. And bonus tip number 2 is do not publicly talk about your eBay store or link it anywhere. And I see a lot of people doing this. You know, they might link their store on Reddit and be like, do you have any tips for me? All it takes is one disgruntled person with your store link to report a bunch of your listings and try and get you taken down. Whether or not anything will stick is another matter, but you really just don't want that kind of heat. And I personally have actually never linked my eBay store. I do show my solds, but I do have my solds hidden. Although I'm not hiding my solds, I'm actually physically using the out of stock feature. In closing, it's time to start thinking about not having all of your eggs in one basket, so that if eBay does decide to kill your entire account with an indefinite suspension, that you're not left with nothing. It's really easy to look at this video and think, I don't sell used beauty products. I don't sell collectible Mountain Dews. I don't sell food with expiration dates. I don't sell medications. I'm completely fine. That is not a great way to look at it. Clothing and shoe sellers still have their issues with VERO and stuff like that. We just saw it happen with Allbirds. They set up a VERO bot to start sniping listings due to, you can't use my trademark because you might be selling fakes. And with enough community backlash, they seem to scale that back and say, well, that wasn't an intended consequence. We're just trying to catch counterfeiters. That's what they all say. You can't tell me for a second that that wasn't actually an intended consequence. They would love to get rid of the used market. Brands can't tell who's selling reals and who's fakes. They would rather the whole market just be theirs. VERO affects literally every seller on eBay, so it can affect you. The burden is not on them to prove that you're selling a fake. The burden is put on you to prove what you have is real. And if you mostly thrift for stuff, you're never gonna be able to do that. Do you see how that has the ability to affect virtually every thrift reseller? My husband recently had some Cards Against Humanity that were brand new and sealed with a little holographic sticker on them and everything, taken down by Cards Against Humanity because they said they were counterfeit. Who knows? But because it's thrifted and there's no paper trail, you can't prove that it's real and your items can get taken down. Amazon sellers are used to this sort of thing, but thrifting eBay sellers aren't. And I can promise you that it's coming and it's gonna suck. This is why the most important thing you can do while suspended is to diversify. You don't want to trust eBay with your entire business. They can and will take it away. So I hope this video was in some way helpful. Maybe you learned something new to avoid a suspension. Maybe you learned that, hey, I'm probably not gonna put all my stuff on eBay 100% anymore. I'm gonna build a presence somewhere else. You know, take away something from this video, because I know that I'm completely scared of losing my eBay account for good over who knows what at this point. But I'm trying my best to avoid the minefield and stay clean and not have my account taken from me. I hope you get out there, have fun, find something good, and avoid getting suspended.